This one little thing might change your life. This one little thing I am going to focus on doing more of in my life. This one little thing actually got me to recording this podcast episode. So in this week, we have a classic Catch Up with Clayton episode, and I hope that you understand the power of this one little thing.
Traveling to consciousness, exploring spiritual journeys to find answers in uncertainty.
What is up, conscious monkeys? Welcome back to another episode of Catch Up with Clayton. As always, I'm your host, Clayton. And this episode is just coming to you straight from the heart. I'm bringing this one right to you just from the soul itself. I'm bringing this one to you just out of intuition. And so let's dive into that for a little bit, because I had this whole skit that I had written, done research on. It's a really cool story, and I'm hoping to do it in the future. But it was weird. I was writing it and reading it and fixing it, something was just like holding me back. And as I sit here, it's like 9 o'clock on Wednesday, so the day before this releases, and there's a piece of me that was like, I don't really want to record this. And I couldn't figure it out. I was like, why? I was like, I need to put something out there. I got to get you guys some information, give you some knowledge. And it just wasn't resonating with me. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, do I not want to do the podcast? I was like, what's going on? And as I was sitting here in my mind, contemplating it, messing with it, trying to figure it out, it came to me that I was like, maybe you should just say something else. Say something from the heart. Say something that is resonating with you right now. And it's interesting because the second I had that spark, the second that it occurred in my brain, here I am. Recording. Talking to you guys. And so what I want you to focus on today is, and even this week, or maybe just the knowledge that I'm trying to dispel to you right now, is the fact that you might not want to do something might be because of the way that you're about to do that thing. And think about this. You know, there's things we got to do in life, right? There's the podcast. I got to do it. But it could be the topic that I'm using or the material. Maybe it's just not the right time for it. I know it's a great idea and I've been sitting on it for a while. And you guys are going to hear it at some point. Promise you that. But right now is not the time. And so here I am, energized as all can be, talking to you guys. I think it's going to be a short episode today. But I do also want to get into another thing. This is really a Catch Up with Clayton episode because I don't really have too much material. I don't have like a cool long idea, if you will. But the idea that I've been focusing on this week, the idea that I've been trying to implement in my life, the idea that I want to talk to you guys about right now is the idea of scheduling your life. And it's something I've been doing over the last, 3 days. So I'm not 100% qualified to speak on its behalf right now. Of course, traditionally speaking, this is a much more masculine thing, but I am definitely going to have a whole podcast also dedicated to scheduling in the future. I personally believe that I have a great system, but it seems like there's just this one little tweak that needs to be made somewhere. It's kind of like what we were talking about. Maybe that's going to be the title of this podcast, One Little Tweak. And it's really amazing how just that one little tweak can completely change the way that you are about to approach the thing you're going to do. Because I know that this podcast episode, the podcast you're listening to right now, is going to be received by you a lot differently than had I come on here with that script that I wrote, those bullet points, and said, okay, like this happened at this point, and maybe it was this, and maybe it was that. But it's crazy because even as I sit here and talk to you, I can feel myself just getting a little bit more energized, getting a little bit more into the podcast space. So think about it. I mean, this could happen in any part of your life. Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe when you go to the gym, you usually do squats. Maybe when you go to the gym, you usually do bench. And maybe when you go to the gym, you're not really feeling it anymore. So maybe the next time you go to the gym, try switching it up. It could be anything from doing squats first and then bench, or completely scrapping both of them. Maybe you just do push-ups. Maybe you just do air squats. Maybe you do lunges. I mean, guys, there's an infinite number of fitness things, and that's definitely something we could talk to about at some point on the podcast. You'll have to let me know. I also have just figured out how to accept messages, like on Spotify. You're able to kind of reply to the podcast, and I've found a way to accept them so they can appear. So if that's something you're curious about doing, please comment on these. I see those, which is super cool now. I figured out how to find those. So definitely, if you're listening on Spotify, go do that. And even more so, Spotify gives me so much more data. So it helps me if you're thinking between Apple Podcast or Spotify or a different streaming platform, definitely highly recommend Spotify. No, they are not paying me to say this, but I'm saying it anyhow. And so, yeah, think about the approach. The one little thing this week is to focus on your approach and the content of what you're doing. Not the thing that you're doing, right? Keep going to the gym. Keep eating healthy. But maybe it's that thing within the healthy, the fruits. You're always eating bananas and apples. Maybe your body wants to switch it up. Maybe you want to switch it up. Maybe the fruits want you to switch it up. Try some blueberries. Try some raspberries. Try giving this podcast a 5-star rating. That'll switch it up for you. Try sharing this podcast with a friend. That'll switch it up for you. Try following me on all my social accounts. That'll switch it up for you. Oh, I cracked myself up. But seriously, guys, it might not actually be the thing. Oh, I don't like going to the gym. Maybe you don't like the thing that you're doing when you go to the gym. So, as your homework, as a little thing that I highly suggest you do after listening to this, think about something you know you need to be doing. Eating healthier, going to the gym, starting that side hustle. You know you need to start doing it. You know you want to start doing it, but something's holding you back. Look at what your approach is or your implementation of that thing. And honestly, if this has a shift in your mind, if this shifts you somehow, leave a comment below on that reply. Leave that 5-star rating, because that's going to cement it in. It's scientifically proven. Science has proven that if you leave a 5-star rating, I know you left a 5-star rating. It increases the ratings of this podcast. That's scientifically proven, guys. You can't deny that. That's pure facts right there. It's pure wisdom I'm bringing to your knowledge, to your dome. So please, 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 above all else, try switching it up. And I guess this one thing that might be a little bit above all else, which is, I will see you in the 6th dimension.